Is. Hello, hello, hello. It's another Q&A. What is happening, you guys? What is happening? I feel like I haven't done these in a while. And I was like, you know what? I need to do a Q&A session today. Like, it's been a while. It has been a while. And I'm excited. Tonight we're doing a live Q&As. Ask me anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys get to ask me anything about business, raising capital. You know the drill. So you can ask me anything. I'm super excited about tonight's session. I'm like, let me just make sure everything is recorded and up and running and ready to go, because it's gonna be amazing. Let's put this here. Let's put this here. Just waiting for some people to show on. It's crazy with the different time zones. So it was like 6:59 somewhere, and then someone have the time as 7 p.m. And then my time is like 2 minutes behind. All right, so if you're joining, welcome to my Q&A session. All things private money, being an entrepreneur inside of my community. We're gonna talk the talk tonight, talk a bunch of stuff tonight. So if you're joining, just drop in the chat where you're joining from, drop in the comments. Where are you guys tuning in from? Are you on Facebook, YouTube, or in Florida? What state are you from? Drop it in the chat. And I don't literally have no flow for tonight. I'm just gonna, I had like some persons kind of drop questions before. Some person that dropped questions before on in my school group. And then it's like I've had some like common questions that people ask me, not just about raising capital, but just about a bunch of stuff. Oh, what's up, Daryl? What did I learn in Utah? That's like, oh my God, and you're in New Jersey. Utah was amazing. You know those moments when you really get some light bulb moments, just hearing what other people are doing, and maybe you've been facing like a problem, and just listening to other persons in the room, you get the solution to the problem that you've been having. That was my biggest takeaway from Utah. So you definitely missed that event. It was pretty good. Oops, sorry. And just for context, for persons who are watching, Utah, I had an event in Utah for Private Mastermind where a bunch of us who are fund managers or emerging fund managers in a community called Black Card. We had like a 2-day workshop where you just spend time just working on your fund, and you have access to different coaches. And it was mainly about like raising capital in 2026. So just raising capital for your fund and being very strategic in what you're doing. Like I tell people all the time, like one of the biggest thing I've learned with raising capital, like it's strategy, right? And we think that if we need to raise $10 million, especially if you're new, it has to be done on one call, one go. Oh, wouldn't that be fantastic if we're able to do that? But also like with that event in Utah, like I came to terms of what the bottlenecks are in my business, which I am a bottleneck in my business, and what I need to do to improve that. And this is where like having teams and expanding your team is so important, being aware of who I need to hire and all those things. So that was a pretty good event. So thank you for asking that. Thank you. That was a great event. So again, this is just a Q&A, guys, very informal. a little update as well that I wanted to share. So I'm like, let's do the live. So if you guys have questions about raising capital, business systems, health, faith, well, I'm not perfect person to give advice on that, but it's just a general question Q&A. So just drop your questions below, well, in the chat, stuff like that. Um, so I just wanted to give like quick updates and all those things. And I've been having like even conversations with people, right, who are so it's kind of two sides. Oh my god, there's so many things. You have experienced real estate investors who are going through a tough time. Like we're having a tough real estate market right now. So not even, I'm based in Florida, but like there's a lot of experienced investors who are taking a really, really big hit. I've spoken to a lot of private investors as well that have been taking a really, really big hit. There's so much happening. It's like now, like you have to, well, I have to figure out like, how do I pivot? How do I handle really, really tough situations and conversations? Like in the past couple months, or a year rather, I've been having a lot of tough conversations with investors. So that has been teaching me a lot, and patience. And yes, I don't like when things go bad, but then it also, the things that goes bad, it allows me to put better systems in place, right? And that kind of helped me to be very strategic, and so I don't make those same mistakes again, or not even mistakes, or those things don't happen again, you know. Um, Nay said, I got Pacemorbi's list of PML. Should I start calling them and building relationships? I guess here's the thing. If that is a public list, I'm assuming everyone else has that list. So you either would, if you want to utilize that list, you'd have to find a creative way. Like, how can I stand out from everyone else who's bombarding that list too? I've spoken to investors who are also on that list, and they've been getting a lot of calls. So now it's like your creativity, like how can I stand out, whether it's email, text message, to get the information across so they can start talking to me. What I would advise as well is do not, the first conversation, whether that's a text message or an email, don't ask them for money at all. I don't recommend that. Um, so yeah, most of my investors are not in real estate. I've just spent the time, and this is just something that has worked for me, is that when you get investors who are in the real estate space, you get really, because they're so familiar with the market, you are going to pay the rate, right? Whereas I kind of pivot into trying to find investors who are not in real estate, because then I can get really good rates, good terms, and stuff like that. And a lot of times, like they're okay with their funds being invested in deals longer. So that strategy has been working really well for me, especially now. I'm like double downing on that. Is that a word? Double downing, double downing, double downing. I don't know. But I've been like really focused on finding investors who are not even sure that they could be in private investors or PMLs, private money lenders. It's the same thing. Just finding people and educating them, and also trying to find those people who are not in real estate at all. So that has been my focus for a while now, and it's something that's been working for me. So that's why I'm like double downing on it. But building relationships is very crucial. A common thing that I see with people is like, oh my God, I want to learn how to raise money, right? And then maybe 2 weeks or a week after trying to do it, and if they haven't raised the total amount of money that they want, they give up, and they think, they just like, this doesn't work, and they switch to the next thing. But you got to remember that building relationships, it takes time, honestly. Like, it's something that takes time. You have to be very consistent with doing it. It's a lot of work. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat that raising capital is easy. It is a lot of work if you want to find the right investors and build relationships, because it's something that you consistently have to keep doing as well. So highly recommend starting that now, no matter what stage that you are at. Nail, so my question, oh, that's a big one. I can't even put it on a screen. Okay, that's hiding my face. So I'm gonna read your next question in Nay. So do I recommend Instagram ad? I'm thinking about creating and paying for an ad towards my target audience, such as truckers, nurses, teachers, and seeing if we're all a good fit. Nate, could you tell me something though? Have you raised money before? Is this your first time raising money and pitching to investors? Because I want to make sure I'm giving you great feedback about that. So if you can drop it in the chat, just let me know. So that way I'm giving you correct info that you can use. Because sometimes nothing is wrong with like doing sponsored ads or anything like that, but you just have to be mindful. And if you're like doing an ad as well, that's something you need to be aware of. Also, firstly, I'm everything that I'm sharing with you guys tonight, I am not giving you guys financial advice at all. Everything that I'm sharing with you is through my personal experience. So anything that I share, take it with a grain of salt and go ask an attorney for advice. Okay. I think also you have to be mindful, Nay, when you're doing ad and asking people for money, you're soliciting, which is against SEC rules. Like you can't be doing that. So you have to be very careful with those ads and what you're saying in the messaging. That is going to be very, very crucial. So I would recommend that reach out to an attorney. I have tons of referrals if you ever need them. Just send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and I could do a few referrals as well. So be mindful of that too. So I raise money to do ministry purposes, not real estate. Oh, nice. See, so you're in a different space. It's a different industry, but it's the same strategy, but you tweak it a little bit. So I think with that, you said you've already built relationship with some PML and building my list, and they're open to invested in our deals. So when you say invested in your deals, so I would say like continue to educate those persons in terms of letting them know what is it that you're looking to invest in, educating them about your asset class, your strategy, as well your process. So educate them on that, and then bring them along your journey with you getting a deal as well. Maybe you went to look on properties, you record that and you share it with them in an email or a text message to say, hey, I'm actually looking at this property to see if it's something I would like to buy. This is what the potential numbers look like. If I get this on a contract, would you be interested? Like, use the time now as well just to educate your audience about what is it that you are doing. So that would be the first step that I would recommend. And if you already have your list of existing people who express interest, whether that's email, you got to find a way to nurture those leads. So either you check in with them on a weekly, bi-weekly basis and stuff like that. You send them emails every week, every 2 weeks. It's totally up to you, but you need to find a way to stay in communication with them so you can stay top of mind. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Because there's so much stuff that we can do. But if you already have a list, and then the fact that you've raised money before, I would say talk about that as well, that you've done it before, what strategy you've done, why you raised the money, what was the result of it, because that shows that you're not a newbie, and you have proof of concept. So I would recommend that as well. So I hope that answers, that helps, Nate. Just let me know if that really helps. But I'm gonna also call out a few people as well. Like, so I do in our school community or I was gonna say like on our school community on Skool. But if you guys don't know, I have a free community on Skool, right? And whenever persons join on Skool, we usually do like a free, like a 15-minute capital raising strategy session, right? I do a ton of those. um I do a ton of those, and when I do those calls, like everyone, like I usually do like a like some questions before that, just to get an idea of the person I'm getting on a call with. Because of course I've never met them, get an idea of what their experience is with raising money. Why are they setting up this call? Like why did I even join? Or Skool group as well. So I like to ask those questions, right? And I've heard like people say like, I want, like at the beginning of the conversation, it's always like, hey, I want to use private money for my deals. Or maybe they're experienced and they're like, I want to use private money for my deals. Or they're like, I've heard about private using other people's money, zero out of pocket. I want to do that. Or I want to make money from like introducing another investor to a PML or private investor to a real estate investor, right? And then I continue the conversation, and then after the conversation, and I kind of assess it like based on their experience level, what I recommend and all that stuff. Like the thing is, like I hear people say a lot of times is that, um okay, I'll do this later, like at the beginning of the call, right? They're like, I'm ready right now, I'm ready to go. But the biggest thing is like they're so afraid to make the commitment because they have so many excuses, like, oh my gosh, like so many excuses. Like they're always like, later, I'll do this later. Like that word later. I swear if I record those calls, like you'd hear like every person I talk to, they always have that word later. But the thing is, like, they keep saying later and then they get the deal and then they're like, oh, I need money now, now, now. Like imagine if they had started way before, 2 months before, right? Or they keep pushing it off and then later they wait for the perfect deal and the perfect deal never shows up. Or later becomes like life just started to happen and now it becomes on the back burner and then they're in a bad situation, yada yada. Or, Kalisha, I'm not doing this full time, or I don't have enough time, or I have kids, or different time zone. It's always something. Like it's literally always something. And I try to tell people in the best way possible. I'm like, if it's that you really want something, if you want to learn something, if you want to get something, if you want to achieve something, and I've seen that with myself. Like you have to be hungry for it, and you have to know that you're gonna have to make a commitment for it, and something is gonna have to you're gonna have to sacrifice something. You are going to have to sacrifice something. For me, like I got so committed to building my real estate business, raising capital, especially raising capital. Why? Because the bank left me at the closing table once. And I said to myself, I will never let that happen to me again, ever. So I knew I had to invest in my education, learn how to raise private money, understand the process. And then from there, I did the thing, right? So I kept doing it and then I just got better and better and better. But I made a commitment to do it. Like I could have made so much excuse, like I don't have the money, or I'm gonna wait until later, or I don't have the time because I was working 80 plus hours a week. Like you gotta commit. And sometimes I'm on the call, I'm like, if I could just hold this person and shake them and be like, just make a decision, just commit and stop making up excuses. It's because the reality of it is that they are excuses, right? They're really, really, oh my God, they're just excuses. But, to each their own. But that's like a common thing that I've seen. And people just, and the thing is too, like, I know people who have kids, married, stay at home, newborns, young, like two under two, like, and they still do it. Like they make time. I think what it comes down to is like you have to be able to schedule your time, even if it's 30 minutes, and people will think 30 minutes is not enough. You know how much stuff you can do in 30 minutes if you cut out distractions. Like if you put a timer, 30 minutes, I'm going to read this book, 30 minutes, I'm going to watch this video. Do you know how much things you can get done in 30 minutes? Like you can get a lot of stuff done in 30 minutes. Like you'll be surprised. In 30 minutes, at the end of 30 minutes, you get so much in the zone that you're like, oh, I can go. Like creativity, the juices are flowing. I don't want to stop this. Then next thing you know, it's 45 minutes. Next thing you know, it's an hour. Boom! You cut out like, you watch so much videos. Like sometimes we just overthink things. Like, why do we overthink things? Like, why? I don't get it. The thing is not a time problem. Like you literally do not have a time problem. A lot of us have a structure problem, especially if you are full-time entrepreneurs as well. Schedule time. And I think one of the toughest thing as a full-time entrepreneur is, oh my God, this happened to me as well. But I like structure, is that when you have a 9 to 5, you know, I got to be at work at 8 or 9, I leave at 5, you go to work, you know exactly what to do. When you're an entrepreneur, you're like, oh, I can get up when I want. I can do this, I can do that. Like you have full control of your time, but that's, you have to figure out how can I structure my day, because now no one is telling you what to do every minute, second, hour of the day. You have to make that decision. You have to create that structure. For me, like, I wish I could show you guys my calendar. Like I have time blocks on my calendar where it's time to do intro calls with potential investors. It's time to raise capital. Even when I was starting out, I had time blocks on my calendar on Tuesdays. I used to do like follow-up Tuesdays. So any potential investor that I met, any potential lead rather, and I thought that that person could be an investor, I would make a note of it in my CRM, and then on Tuesdays I would go in and I would follow up with that investor, not asking them for money, but again, just based on the following up on the last conversation that we did, or just find a way to educate, for them to learn more about me, for me to learn about them. There's so much that you can do in the follow up, but structure is very important. Like if you don't have structure, like that's going to be hard. And then we think that we don't have enough time, but most of the time, like, you have to look and see, where am I spending my time, where am I wasting my time, and then replace the wasting time with something that you really need to commit to. Maybe that's improving some aspect of your business, hiring, improving a system, operations, raising money, talking to investors, creating content. Make the time, like make it a priority to do that. And I think a lot of people, like, we just don't do that, right? Is there, like, if you're watching right now, right, if you've ever thought like, or you said something like, I'll get it done later, like drop a raise hand in the chat. Like I've done it. I've done it with certain things where I'm like, I'll do that, like it's something that you need to make a decision to do because it will move the needle of your business or yourself, and you're like, I'll do it later. It's like procrastinating. Anyone talk to me. I'm like calling you guys out a little bit, but talk to me. Anyone ever said, like, I'll do this later? You know, you really need to do it. And you're like, I'll do this later. It's a very common thing. Like, it is very, very common. I see people do that a lot. Okay. Oh, Nay, I didn't even realize that you had a follow up. You said, I was considering your paid group, but I heard you said don't join the paid until you take action in the free. And did you mean raise from the free, or I have so many questions? Oh, no, here's the thing that I would say, watch the content that is in the free group. I have a ton of free stuff there. Watch it and understand the basics, the foundation. And if after you do that and you're like, okay, I want to continue on this path, but I need someone to hold my hands. I need guidance. I really need help. This is something I really want to do. Then we set up a call for me to understand more of what your goal is and the direction, and to see if you're even a good fit. But that's the main reason I recommend to do the free stuff, because there's content in the classroom on Skool. So I highly recommend watching those videos. I'm a strong believer in, like, my videos, I can't handle the fluff. So I get straight to the point. And a lot of my stuff is, when I just got into raising capital and the real estate space, like people would just give me the surface level things. And I'm a detail, or I would like to think that I like details. Okay. So if I don't understand the details and the how, um, it's hard for me to understand certain things sometimes and to move forward. So I always tell myself, if I get to the other side where I'm experienced and I'm sharing my experience with people, I don't want to share the fluff. I want to share the details. So watch those, and after watching those videos on Skool in the classroom, send me a message on Skool to set up a time, to ask for my link so we can talk from there as well. Um, Last question: is there a reason why you no longer the Canva pitch deck template you had? Yes. Because it was, for me, it was outdated. And I also think that for someone who is completely new, what I found is that they will get overwhelmed because of how my pitch deck was structured. And then they will put a bunch of info. And if they share the pitch deck to the investor, they didn't even understand the deal first. So I believe that you need to understand what you're presenting first, and then you tweak the pitch deck as such, if that makes sense. Because my strategy was completely different. So my pitch deck was tailored based on my strategy. And I also wanted the pitch deck to be very general as well. And persons couldn't understand, like when they use my template that they had in the free group, they would put their numbers in it. And then they were like, Kalisha, how do you get this number and that number? Which means they didn't even understand the underwriting process. So now I had to direct them to go watch the underwriting video. Like, people think about, here's the thing too. People think about raising money as just, hey, I have a deal. Would you want to invest in it? Right. But when you are talking to an investor to potentially invest their money into a project or a business, whether that's yours or for somebody else, like, you as a person explaining this deal, you need to become the expert investor. You need to understand that asset class or that project to be able to talk about it and pitch about it, the ins and out, the risks. Don't just focus on the good thing about that deal, meaning just like the return and all of the document stuff that people get overwhelmed. Talk about the project, talk about the risk. If this goes south, these are the things that we have in place. Hey, these are the numbers. This is how we came up with our numbers. So even if your investor has never done a real estate investing before or a private lending before, with you explaining, they understand that deal and they don't feel overwhelmed. Because a lot of times they can feel overwhelmed because you have all these numbers. And girl, ask away your questions. Um, oh, you're on a roll. I love it. So your next question is, how did you find out how to do one? I listened to Matt Ferklop book and took those principles to create a general presentation, but still got to create a pitch deck as well. So I have a marketing background. So that kind of helped me a lot. There's no right or wrong way how to do pitch decks. Let me put that out there. There's no right or wrong way how to do pitch deck. It just depends on your project and what is it that you're trying to do, and putting yourself in your investor's shoe to be like, if I get this deck without having any knowledge in this asset class, what information do I want to see? How should I communicate that? So, and I change my pitch decks all the time. I change my marketing all the time because I'm always like, try to put myself in that investor's shoe. Like, how can I communicate this so that investor with no knowledge understand what is it that I'm doing? Where if I share this to a teenager, a 14-year-old, 12-year-old, they understand this deck to an extent and what it is saying. Like, that's where I always try to find ways how to improve my marketing, my communication to my investors, because I go in assuming that they do not know anything at all about my asset class. So it's like, you even use ChatGPT and be like, hey, I'm a dummy. I'm a dummy. Um, I'm a dummy. I want to do this deck this is the potential person that I'm trying to share with. Here's all the information that I have. How would you break that down? How would you break that down so a 12-year-old can understand? Right? But that book with Matt Fairclough, it is a really, really, really good book. I've read that book. I think he had two of them. I think I read both of those. Um, and those are two really good books. And I tend to listen to a lot of podcasts that involves raising money. So I was listening to podcasts mainly for raising money that's really for real estate related, and then I transitioned into raising money, or podcasts rather, from persons who are raising money for to invest in startups, to private equity, um raising capital to buy art. That was a very creative. I listened to that podcast. It was so good. So people who are using private investors. So I like to find those really unique podcasts just to hear what persons are doing, and just to hear those strategies. Like that to me is very, very, very informative as well. Um, so yeah, so I hope that helps. I hope that helps too. Another common thing that I've seen is that people don't realize that you gotta turn raising capital as a habit, right? It's not like I feel like doing it today. I don't feel like doing it until the next 2 weeks. I don't feel like doing it until the next month. Like, try to see how you can turn it into a habit where it becomes like a part of your routine, your weekly routine, right? And because a lot of times too, you're like, oh, I don't know what to do this week. I don't know what else to raise money. And then sometimes we're like, the goal is to raise money. Okay, but do we understand how broad that is? Like, do we understand how broad that is when we're like, this week or today, I'm going to raise money or I'm going to find investors? What does that mean? Like, we got to be able to break it down to the T. If our goal is to, okay, this week, I'm going to work on finding investors. Where? Maybe I'm going to do content to find investors. Maybe I'm going to create a bunch of emails to find investors and educate them because I already have an existing list, right? Like, you got to find a way to turn it into a weekly habit. Like, you got to keep doing every time over and over, and that is how, like, you it becomes a habit. Now when you're building the relationship, it becomes very consistent with you raising capital. And yes, you're gonna have deals where you need money right away and the pressure is on. That's You're gonna have that. Like, you will never run away from that. I mean, that's the goal. So when you have a deal, like, you don't have to be hunting people down. That's always the goal. But sometimes some opportunities drop in your lap and you're under pressure to find the money now, and people are moving slow. You're like, hello, I need an answer now. This is very urgent. Like, when we're raising money for a deal, it is, of course, it is always urgent. But you have some people where you just can't push them. You cannot push them because then they get scared and all that stuff. You can't. That's why the consistency of nurturing that relationship and educating is so, so crucial, right? And then from there, like, when you turn it into a weekly habit and you're doing the thing, like, each week is like you go in your week and you know what you're doing as it relates to raising capital, and you do it, you will see results. You will see what is working, what is not working. And then the following week, you keep improving and you become better and you try different things. Like, but so many times we are so afraid to just start and just do it, and we're not consistent with doing it, and we think that we need to raise capital every single day, like on our books. No. Like, someone told me when I just started, like, you need to raise capital every day, every single day. And I was like, I got so overwhelmed because I was starting out and I was like, felt like I wasn't doing enough, right? So then I had to, like, put times, different days in my calendar where I'm like, okay, this day I'm gonna go to this X type of event. That day I'm gonna do a lot of content online to try to find investors. This day I'm gonna focus on email marketing, which means I'm gonna create a bunch of emails so I can start nurturing my existing list that I have. All those components make up raising money. Well, from my experience, again, all of these are just what I've tried from my experience. But so what I see is that a lot of persons who are completely new is that you don't know what to do each week. So it is like so hard. And then you give up. And then you have shiny object syndrome and you jump from this and then you jump from that because you really do not know what to do every week. But you got to remember, like, you're taking small, repeatable steps over and over. The more conversations you have, the better you get at talking to investors. The more conversations you have, a new investor is going to teach you something. A new investor is going to have an objection that you weren't even ready for. But then you can ask someone to be like, hey, here's an investor objection. I've never heard this before. How do you handle that? So then the next time someone asks you that, you are prepared to have an answer. And guess what? A new investor is going to ask you something else. That's how you're learning. Like, I swear to you, I learned something new about myself, my strategy, raising capital when I talk to a new investor every single time, because somebody who is not familiar with real estate always asks me a unique question. And sometimes I tell them, like, oh my God, I've never gotten that question before. That is very interesting. And guess what? If I don't know, I'm always like, you know what? That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to find out and get back to you because that is a very, very interesting question. I don't got to lie that I know the answer. There's certain things that you don't fake it. Okay? There's certain things that you do not fake at all. Like, don't fake it. Don't. Right? So even with that whole thing that I mentioned, like, you got to turn it into a weekly habit. Nay said, you need to mentor me. Highly recommend. Nay, if you promise to go watch those videos for this week, and then once you do, send me a message on Skool, and then we can talk. Dara, what's the name of the podcast? Oh my God, I don't remember. I watched. Oof. It was a random episode that I found. Um, Making Billions by Ryan Miller. Making Billions by Ryan Miller was when I listened to that podcast, that episode where the person was raising capital to buy art. Also, what are the most impactful books you have read? Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a good question. Um, The Magic of Thinking Big. I'm currently relisting that. Well, actually, just finished relisting The Magic of Thinking Big. That was like a really good book. You're a Badass. I love that book a lot. Um, and then you have one of my favorite books too, as it relates to business and structure, is oops, sorry, E Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Like, I love that book, and I've maybe listened to it 2 or 3 times. Um, uh, what other book for me is good? I'm listening to The CEO Within right now. So I tend to listen to books based on the season that I'm in, whether that's personal development or the business or what I think I need help with personally. Then I will choose books for that. Um, Another book that I buy to this day, I did this in a coaching program, Four Maps of Happy Successful People. Love, love, love that book. That one is really good. 10x is greater than 2x is really good. I love 10x by Grant Cardone. I don't care what nobody has to say. I've read and listened to that book multiple times. Um, Barrett said, well, there is thank you for your feedback. That this is great. And yes, this record is live, so you can always go back and rewatch it on YouTube because we're streaming also on YouTube and we are streaming on Facebook as well. So you can always rewatch this. Nay said I've been watched the videos. Okay, Nay, do me a favor. Send me a DM on Skool so we can chat tomorrow. So send me a DM. That way, if I have some available tomorrow, Wednesday, we can talk. Nay said, tell ChatGPT your goals and ask them what books to read in order to learn and apply those skills and knowledge. Oh, that's a good prompt. That's a good prompt. Listen, ChatGPT, it does wonders, okay? It really does wonders. But yeah, continue with the questions, guys. I love this. But going back to like the whole creating a weekly habit and stuff, I think because I've seen those things, and we talk about this in our community as well, in terms of like knowing what to do, because a lot of people do struggle with it because there's so much strategies for you to make money from in real estate. Like there's a lot. And the reality of it, a lot of us have shiny object syndrome. It's hard to stick to that one thing. And because of that, I decided, I'm like, you know what? Let me do a 2 hour, like a quick session, just like guiding persons who are completely new to raising capital and help give them a structure of, if you want to raise money like in 30 days, what are some things that you can do week by week? So I'm semi creating a schedule with you. So you go in and know that, okay, week one, this is what I have to do. You can spread it out. Week two, these are all the things that I need to do. Week three, this is what I need to do. And I guarantee you, like, if you do that, like, one, you will become, um, you will get like a momentum, and now you're turning it into a habit of all the things that you need to do raising capital. And then after 30 days, it's like now you have a guide, and you just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Like you literally just keep going, right? So that's why I decided, like, instead of spreading it out, like in that 2 hour session, just breaking down week one, these are all the things that you need to do. Week two, these are all the things you need to do. Week three, and then you can take that and just keep billing. So it's perfect. Like if you're a beginner, if you have a busy schedule, if you are that person to be like, I have kids, I don't have time, or the time zone and all that stuff, and I have work and I have commute, and yeah, here's a plan. We're gonna break down these things for you as well. And I'll be doing that on Zoom. I think Thursday or Wednesday, January 18. Wednesday, January 18 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat as well, and it will be in the description. So if you guys do go back and rewatch it, it will be in the chat. So you can always look back for it too. Um, and then where would you look for investors for tech? Um, do you mean like for, do you want them to invest like in your tech company, your startup company? I'm assuming that's what you mean. If that's what you mean, like they're all around you. Oh my god, I hate saying that, but it's true. It's like the thing is, like, we kind of get in our heads because of our industry or what we need the money for. You gotta think about it this way, Wheeler. If you meet an investor, and it's tech, as you mentioned, right? You meet an investor and you want them to invest in your tech. Maybe that investor would never consider tech, but because of how you present the opportunity to them, they consider doing it. And a lot of times too, people don't have the information ready. They're like, I'm looking for an investor for $500,000. I'm have this great idea, would you invest? Like, you got to be ready where you have something, some form of material ready to share, where if you meet a potential person, they're like, what do you do? Okay, I'm actually just launched this tech company, and this is what the problem that we are solving. We're in the phase right now of looking for investors. Do you know anyone that will be interested in this? I can always send over something by email to just give an overview of about the company and what we're doing. And then boom, you take the person's email, but boom, you also have an executive summary, a video, a website, a pitch deck, or something about that thing that you want them to invest in. So now you are always ready to go, because you can be at an event, you could be in a line, you could be at the airport, you could be at the bank, and somewhere you're at the AT&T, or they did not sponsor this. Why did I say AT&T? Like a phone company, you're somewhere in line waiting, and people make small talks everywhere. You're in a DMV, you're right, and people make small talk. At least you have the material ready. Like for me, I always have my pitch decks ready, I always have my website ready, and that's how I lead my conversation, because anyone could be an investor. I remember one time I met someone on a plane, and I was telling them what I was doing, and we are having conversation for the entire time. We connected on LinkedIn. I share what is it that I was doing, and they're like, oh my god, this is something that I will be interested in, but I like more information. But I have information that was ready to go, right? um So Capital for Technology is a startup that has done their beta raises 10 million, and that's what I'm doing. Thanks for the validation. Awesome, you are welcome. So if you're doing that, that's also amazing, which I'm assuming you would have like an attorney involved, so you know how to go about raising the money and pooling investors capital together. If you don't, I highly recommend that as well. um Nay said, should I tell people I'm an investor or capital raiser at events? Because I'm on a team and I raise capital for the operator and I get cash flow and or equity in the deal. Um, Sorry. This is where like, oh Nay, you really need my help. Um, because I can go in so many different directions here, but I would recommend that forget to use the word, forget the capital raiser and investor, relate to people. Just tell people, what do you do? You don't need to add titles to it. Just tell them what you do. Just have a conversation. Like if we're talking right now at an event and I meet somebody, what do you do? I raise capital for real estate projects. That's it. That's it. I raise capital for real estate project. You don't need to use a title. Now, depending again where you're at and who you're talking to, it may matter. It may matter. Wheeler said, I have a lot of attorneys involved. I love it. I love it. You are definitely on the right path as well. Wheeler, so check out LinkedIn too. LinkedIn is a good way to start getting some leads there as well. That's usually like pretty good spot to use. Um, it's a pretty good spot. Oh, we're coming up to the time, so keep dropping the questions in the chat. Um, yeah, Nay, because I can go on. I love that you ask questions. Like I can point in so many different directions. Like when we talk, you'll be like, oh, now I get what you're saying. It makes sense. Like you're gonna have a lot of aha moments with me. Because you realize like when you're raising money, it's again, it goes back, it's strategy, it's understanding, it's psychology, it's so much things. And I also did psychology in college where I did not want to do that course. And I was like, what does this has to do with marketing? And it pisses me off. But now I'm very glad that I did that psychology course as well. Um, what else do you guys got? Let's see. I'm thinking to see what thing that I can share that I've seen a lot lately. Um, that I've seen a lot lately. I think I shared the main thing is structure. I've just seen that very common. And especially like in their business as well. Like as an entrepreneur, we wear all the hats. That's fine at the beginning, but at some point we gotta find a way to be like, am I, and ask ourselves, like, am I a bottleneck in my business? Like, if I get sick, knock on wood, or if I decide to travel all day tomorrow, is my business still running? And then sometimes, and that's the perfect time when we're like, yeah, I need a hire, but we don't even make the effort to do it. You know, we do that later thing. I see that's very common as well. We do that, I'll do it later. Like you know the thing that you need to do, but then you're like, this is gonna take so much time, I gotta train, and then 6 months from now you're gonna be like, oh, you're in the same position that you were. So imagine if you had just commit the time to hire somebody. Like, honey, you gotta do that. Okay, you gotta do that. Like we all want to be a CEO and call ourselves a CEO, but it comes with real responsibilities. You know, you gotta build systems, you gotta delegate. Like I'm learning the delegation portion of it, but I'm a systems person. Like that's very, very important to me. Systems really help me to grow, and I'm very grateful for that. Again, I valued system because I read The E Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, and I took a lot of stuff that he said in that book and implemented it too. So that was very, very helpful. And the thing is too, like no matter if you are starting out, if you're completely new, right? Or if you've been doing it for a long time, you are never, how do I put this, is that you are always gonna find, always looking for ways to improve your business, to delegate, because as your business grow, your business will outgrow your current system. Your business may outgrow your team, and now you got to promote your team. You also got to train your team. um and I think I froze. Let me know. What are you guys seeing? Do you guys see me? I'm waving. Okay, I'm back. Okay, good. But yeah, that is what was I saying? Oh, technology and the internet, because I know I'm like that froze. What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about like when you grow, um, you will outgrow your systems. So your systems are things that you'll always be improving. Your team as well, your strategy of how you raise money. Like the more money, that the same strategy you use to raise $500,000 could be a different strategy that you'll raise to raise 10 million or 20 million. Like things will change, all right? Things will change. So you just got to pause and be aware of when you're growing or what you need to fix when all those things. Any more questions before I go? So just a reminder, doing a weekly a breakdown. It's like a 2-hour session. So if you're completely new, or maybe you've passed that level, but you know someone where this session will be very helpful for them, you can register there as well. I just drop it in the chat, just register. And we're just gonna break down things that you can do to raise money on a weekly basis. So you have a plan, whether that's emails, what those emails should look like. Because a lot of times, like, we're like, okay, we need to do emails, but what does the emails look like? Or I need to do content. What is that content about? Right? I need to go to events. What type of events should I look for? Where should I look for them? So those little things we're gonna be breaking down to the T. Okay, breaking it down to the T. I was like, I'm gonna put this on the screen, but then it cuts out my face as well. Bam. Oh, there you go. On the screen. Bam, bam, bam. So make sure you put in the 30-day capital raising strategy session there. Daryl said, this was good. You should do weekly office hours. Oh, thank you so much. I used to do office hours and I stopped. I only do office hours for persons who are in our private community as well. Like I do those and I go way more in depth with those weekly office hours, because then I can really help people. Like this is nice. This is really nice. I can show up, I can talk, I can ask questions, but I like my office hours within my private community because now people now are asking questions based on problems that they're having. And then I could give real feedback. I can share my screen. I mean, I can share my screen here, but then like tomorrow we have an office hour and we're doing an operator lab. So we have like lab session. That's what I call my office hours. And we're going to be dissecting someone's business, right? They volunteer their business. We're going to dissect it, their strategy of what they're doing to raise money, how they keep track of their leads, their system, everything, and just breaking it apart, but also giving feedback of how they can improve and become better, and just looking what they currently have. So that way, even their team members will be there as well. So we can help them to improve. That to me, I like doing that. I enjoy doing those types of office hours. So yeah. But thank you guys for the feedback and the comments. You guys had a lot of questions. I have like 5 more minutes. Whose questions? If you're not a part of our Skool community, shame on you, which is also going to be in the description in this video, below this video. Okay. But if you are not a part of our Skool group, the free community, I am going to drop the link in the below. But if you are also already a part of the free community and you want to join the private one, I'm going to drop that link below as well. And you can apply to see if you're a good fit, because I only like to deal with action takers. Because if I'm pouring into you, I want you to show up. I want you to win. want you to make some money. I want you to raise some money. Like, hello, we're not here to show up, so I just dropped the link. So, and even after this recording as well, you guys, like, you can go back and rewatch it. It's live, it's on Facebook. Let me know your feedback. I know, drop it in the chat, but also leave a comment, and do the thumbs up thing. I just said do the thumbs up thing, like this video. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, that would be greatly appreciated. If you subscribe, I would love that. Guys, if you watch my old content, I used to do another podcast before, myself and a friend of mine, about raising private money. We interviewed a bunch of private money lenders and investors, tax professionals, accounting professionals that deals with investors. And I remember when I did my first episode and I was like, oh, I don't want to use YouTube. I hate YouTube. I'm not a YouTube girly. I'm not going to be the person, but like, comment, and subscribe. Look at me now, 3 years later, 2 years later, whatever the time is. Isn't it crazy? Never say never. Okay. That's the one, what I've learned, that never say never. Okay. Because you just don't know where life and opportunities will take you. You don't know. So would really, really appreciate that after this video, you guys, 1, subscribe, 2, like this video, but 3, comment, let us know your feedback. I know you guys up in the chat that it was good, but what was your big takeaway from joining the session? Have time for one more question. You guys drop it. I'm committed. I say an hour. According to this, I still got about 3 minutes to go. So drop the question. That will be all my info for tonight. So drop the question. And just remember that when you're raising capital, it doesn't have to be a lot of pressure. You just need a plan and strategy. That's what I've been learning, or that's what I've learned. And that's what I have been reminded of. That's it. Yeah, I've been reminded of lately that it's all about strategy, guys. Strategy is crucial. Anything that you're doing in life, it's a strategy. You're going to freestyle some stuff. And at some point when you freestyle it, you see what works, what doesn't. Now you're like, I'm going to double down. It's going to take strategy, planning, and execution, and stick with it. Make a mistake, improve, see what works, keep improving. Again, strategy, plan, consistency. All right. Okay. So I guess if you guys do not have any questions, I want to say thank you guys so much for showing up for tonight's Q&A, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have yourself, guys, a fantastic night. Wait, Darren has a question. Are you using AI in your business? Of course. Oh my God, so many different ways. Like, now you ask, this is like a good question you asked that at the end. ChatGPT, of course. I use AI for presentations. I use AI to create videos, to create images. I use AI to problem solve, using AI, exploring AI now to do underwriting in our systems that we have. Using mini AIs for a team to create SOPs and improving SOPs, using mini AIs for where they sound like me, so my team doesn't have to ask me every single thing directly. Oh, this is a whole, I can go deeper into it, but that was a good question. I think I need to talk about that. AI. Listen, it's not going anywhere, so we got to find a way to incorporate it in our business. Some way, somehow, we're going to have to do that. All right. All right, you guys, again, thank you so much for showing up, and I hope you guys have a fantastic night and a great week. Bye, guys. Bye.